So, you may have just watched Max's driving test, and unfortunately didn't pass. There's a few sort of serious faults. I think a lot of it though, really, I don't know if you'd agree, Max, was based like nerves really, and also, as viewers would probably agree, it's also the conditions. We got a really bad day for it. It's pouring down with rain, the roads flooded in various places, so it was actually quite difficult conditions. But unfortunately, of course, that's still, of course, you do your test and that's something you just have to unfortunately deal with. It's tricky because you can't really experience it really, because it just happens every so often. If I go through what I put as serious faults, I'd try to do it in as much as I can chronological order. So starting at the beginning, where you came out of the car park here, went up to the roundabout. The first serious fault I actually gave you at that roundabout, the first smaller roundabout, we were looking for something for Horsham, which is following the road ahead, second exit. I don't even remember what lane you used on approach.
The right lane.
That's not really a huge problem. You should ideally be in what lane if you're going ahead normally?
Or the left, I imagine.
Yeah. Right lane's not a huge problem. The thing is, when you then merged onto the roundabout, you went back to the left lane without checking.
Yep.
If you would have stayed in the right lane and then checked on the mirrors to come off, that would have proved to be a minor. But because you moved, I don't know if it was that maybe a bit of panic where you sort of realised and then you sort of moved back to the left without checking. So that was a serious fault for use of mirrors change direction. So that happens, like, so you just stay in the right lane and then you can just check your mirrors as you come off, that's fine, it's not a major problem. Head at the next roundabout, I then actually gave a serious fault for steering, because as we entered the roundabout we cut across again, we like straight lined it. Difference there was we cut across a lot more and there was a van next to us. Which I don't know if you saw or remember, I almost moved my hands, I was about to steer, but the van actually beat you to it and already steered away from you. But before you enter the roundabout, the often problem is when you enter the roundabout, you might be looking right for too long. And where else do you need to be looking to get your position correct?
Left as well.
So often be that if you're looking that way too long, not looking that way, you're not going to realise how sharp you need to steer to keep in your lane. Do you know the trick as well, when to keep your position, when you enter a roundabout, do you know the trick about when you enter around where you should be looking when you enter the roundabout?
To the curb.
Yeah, like looking towards and at the curb to almost aim to hit it. If you're not looking there, you'll probably end up straight lining it and cutting across another lane. So that was unfortunately a serious fault for steering, because we just didn't steer over tight enough and made a van move lanes. Junctions observations. A roundabout near the train station in Horsham where I had to say to you to stop. Stop. So we're returning left first exit. I don't know if any thoughts on that, any thoughts on what made you want to start to go when there was cars coming from the right?
It was a guy went through a puddle and swerved, and I made it look like it was a two-lane roundabout, so when the first person came around I thought he was sticking to the inside so I could pull out and go in the other.
It is a two-lane roundabout.
Okay, well then I just missed.
But things bear in mind, if they're in the inside lane, are they going to definitely stay there? Actually, what did you just say? They
can still come off.
Yeah, so you just can't do it. It's too dangerous. So that's why I had to say stop. Because then they all did come off, so they would have been going into the lane that you were merging into, and they've got priority because they're on the roundabout. Response to road markings. I put it as road markings. It's a tricky one because of the rain, but that funny junction where I said there's an interesting junction. You're going to look at, if you look at the sign, we're looking to go towards Crawley. The reason I said junction is a little hint that it's not really a roundabout. Often examiners might drop hints like that. If they don't mention it's a roundabout, then it might not be a roundabout, so i.e. it might not be giving way to the right. And I don't know if you saw when I said it, but did you see they actually had giveaway lines? Yes, you've got priority. So keep going, you've got priority, they've got giveaway lines. Just follow the road round to the right. So that's why I put that as a serious fault, because we were stopping and for the traffic on the right when they've actually got to give way to you in that situation. But quite tricky because the rain makes it very hard to see the markings. and it's a bit of a funny junction. Move off safety. Moved off without checking.
Okay.
You would have done all your checks, fair enough. But it's basically moved off without checking. I think the main thing from this one is just try to relax. If you know when you pull up on the left, there's one point you pull up on the left and you weren't quite happy with where you stopped. It's quite okay just to stop for a few seconds, and if you're not happy, then take your time and pull away.
My problem was that I thought, because the cars had stopped behind me and weren't going round, and I thought, do these boulders on the side, the pylons sort of things, do they mean you can't stop? And that's why I went forward.
They'll just stop people parking on the grass.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't know what they were
If you weren't allowed to park there, it wouldn't be bollards and the cones, it'd be 2 lines, it'd be the yellow lines, yeah. So just try to chill it, because they have got room to go around you. They're probably just weren't sure. They just wanted to make sure you're fully stopped and give you a few seconds, particularly because you know you've got L plates on, to make sure. So they would have gone around you a few seconds later. But if you really weren't sure they're going to go around you, once you've stopped, you know what you could do to convince them you're stopped. They're more likely to go around you.
Turn the engine off.
Could do. I was thinking more
Signals.
What signal you could use?
Left.
Yeah, just to keep on. So I'm staying on the left, and then they might be more likely to realise you, then be more confident to go around you. So you could also do that, but they would have gone around you.
Okay.
And the other one was just this reverse parking here. Make sure you're definitely happy you're in the bay.
Yeah.
You know, when even I said to you, are you happy with your position?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do that as well. That's your final lifeline to check.
Yeah.
I assume you are aware you are allowed to correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you happy with your parking?
Yeah.
Okay. So just give me a minute. Just if you switch the engine off for me, please. Just so I need to jump up and have a look, and just have to have the engine off legally.
Sure.
2 minutes. It's quite a good one to show people this, because unfortunately, because you didn't take the lifeline, you didn't correct it, it would then be a serious fault, because at the moment we're not actually in the bay.
Okay.
We're over. I don't know if you saw that when you opened the door a minute ago.
Yeah.
But if you would have corrected it, it would have been fine. You would have just maybe got a minor.
Yeah.
But because you didn't correct it, it goes down as a serious fault for reverse park control.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you had any questions on any of those serious things.
No,
or
pretty simple.
It's an annoying thing, isn't it? Because it's just, like I say, conditions make it a bit more nervy, particularly you not knowing me, the test situation. Even often the bit of paper is a bit, isn't that bit of paper? There's a bit of off-putting, isn't it? So yeah.